Hello everyone, my name is John. I'm one of the staff historical interpreters here at Fort Meigs Historic Site in Northwest Ohio. We've been talking recently about the importance of musicians and music in the armies of the world at this time, the early 19th century, and the War of 1812, specifically here in the United States. And indeed, musicians are extremely important. They're going to be the Army's communication system, both in camp here and on the battlefield. The various maneuvers being controlled by different songs and calls from the musicians, and the schedule and the work details of the camp also being controlled by musicians. And the two musicians that are assigned to the Army are, of course, drummers and fife players. Now, it's believed that the drums are going to carry underneath the sound of battle, and the high-pitched fife is going to fly up over the top of the sound of battle. So either way, the soldiers can hear the commands that they need. Now, the fife is a very simple instrument. It's a member of the flute family, and it is simply just a straight pipe. It has one large hole to blow in, and then 6 finger holes to give you the various pitches. Even so, the fife plays very well in very specific keys, so most of the Army's music happens to be written, if you're a musician, in the key of D or the key of G. Very sharp, very bright keys, very, very good for this whistle-like instrument. Now, paired with the drum, various calls can be given on the fife, and the different pitches, of course, make a little tune that might be a little bit easier for a soldier to recognize than a beat on a drum, a simple rhythm. So the fife will be very important. And like drum majors in the Army, there will also be fife majors. That fifer that is the most experienced, the head of all the fifers in the Army. And again, musicians are attached to companies of soldiers, 2 musicians per company. That would be 100 soldiers, 1 drummer and 1 fifer. But in battalion formation, the large battlefield formations, the musicians are going to form up in a band behind the firing line in order to issue orders out. So the fifers and all the drummers from the various companies would coalesce into a larger group. This will also be true for parade formations, morning parade, and the retreat and the tattoo at the end of the day. Now, musicians, of course, wear the reverse colors of the regular Army, so their uniform is a little bit different. Many people are confused when they see me wearing the red coat of the Music Corps because they associate that red coat with the British Army at this time period. But indeed, no, American musicians will wear red. It's the reverse or the inversion of the regular U.S. Army, which wears a blue wool coat with red cuffs and red collar. So to reverse that, the musicians will wear a red coat with blue cuffs and blue collar. I still have yellow face taping on my coat, indicating that this fife player would be attached to the artillery in the U.S. Army. Now, musicians have a number of duties besides just relaying the camp calls and the duty calls throughout the day or battlefield commands. Musicians standing behind the firing line are often going to be relied upon to remove the wounded and the dead from the battlefield as the Army moves forward or back across the field. So they have grisly duties as well as studying their music all day long. I'd like to do a few examples of the music pieces that a fifer might be called upon to do. So on the battlefield or in camp, you might hear the musicians play "To Arms." It's a signal for the soldiers to get up out of their tents, to grab their equipment, to grab their weapons, and form up to arms. There is an alarm in the camp. To arms. No doubt one of the favorite calls of the Army would be a little tune called "Roast Beef." And this is actually the sign or the song for the noonday meal. So as the soldiers are carrying about their duties throughout the day, they would hear roast beef played by the fifers, and they know they can knock off and grab some chow in the middle of the day. So, roast beef.